The story of Moses begins without his name, and he becomes the great leader of his people. We will discover his secrets. Exodus 2 verses 1 to 2. Now a man of the tribe of Levi married a Levite woman. And she became pregnant and gave birth to a son. When she saw that he was a fine child, she hid him for 3 months. This is how the story of one of the greatest leaders, Moses, begins. You may have noticed that no names are written in this verse. In the book of Exodus, after Moses' birth, his mother hid him for 3 months and did not give him a name. His name was not written until this stage. After 3 months his mother placed him in a wooden basket and sent him into the Nile. Pharaoh's daughter collected Moses' basket from the Nile. Since Moses was still a 3-month-old baby, he needed to nurse. So Pharaoh's daughter handed the child over to Yocheved and asked her to nurse him for pay. When the child grew up and no longer needed to nurse, Yocheved returned him to Pharaoh's daughter, who gave him the name Moses, and raised him as if he were her own son. Exodus 2 verse 7. Shall I go and get one of the Hebrew women to nurse the baby for you? Wait. Did you know that Moses asked God to delete him from the Bible? We will discuss it later. Now, let's continue. Who is the Moses family? Are Miriam and Aaron his brothers, and are Yocheved and Amram his parents? And this is where the hiding of Moses' figure begins in the Bible. Why does this happen? At the beginning of the book of Exodus, there is no mention of the name of Moses. To understand what happened here, one must examine the commentary in the book of Arba Turin, which examines identical words that appear throughout the entire Bible. It was found that the words, "now a man of," appear only one more time in the Bible, in the story of Moses, and in the book of Ruth. The book of Ruth is where the birth of a leader of the people of Israel, King David, begins. The man's name was hidden here as a jar that does not harm leaders before their birth, and thus David and Moses became leaders only after years of hardship. It was not clear who they were until the moment of their discovery. Just as Moses was revealed as a leader from the burning bush, so was David revealed after the prophet Samuel went to his father Jesse's house to search for the next leader. So, why does this happen, and why don't the names appear? The interpretation is that these two leaders came to the Bible from a place of uncertainty. King David's story starts with Lot and his daughters, when Lot slept with his daughters, who were drunk, resulted in the birth of Moab, from which eventually came King David. Let's talk for a moment about the book of Exodus. The Bible mentions Amram's name for the first time when it lists the members of Jacob's family who went down to Egypt. The Bible attributes Amram to Levi, the son of Jacob. Levi was the father of 3 sons, Gershon, Kehat, and Mari. Amram was Kehat's eldest son. In Egypt, Amram married Yocheved, the sister of his father Kehat, which was allowed at that time. The two had 2 children, Miriam and Aaron. At that time, Pharaoh's pressure and cruelty towards the Israelites increased. The terrible thing was that Pharaoh's demanded to kill the male babies, which caused the dissolution of Amram's family. Exodus 1 verse 22. Then Pharaoh gave this order to all his people, "Every Hebrew boy that is born you must throw into the Nile, but let every girl live." According to the commentary, Amram, a priest from the Levi family, from which the priests originated, said, "We toil in vain." He stood and expelled his wife, and all the other Israelite men did the same because their priest commanded it. The commentary then goes on to tell how Miriam saved the situation and influenced the fate of the Jewish people. His daughter Miriam said to him, "Father, your decree is more severe than Pharaoh's." Pharaoh ordered to kill the babes of Israelites, but his decree was not fulfilled, as the entire house of Israel continued to be born. Pharaoh intended to take their lives, but their souls would reach heaven. And you demanded something more severe, you chose that a soul would not be born, and thus it would not live either in this world or in the next. You are a priest, so surely your decree will be fulfilled. He withdrew and returned to his wife, and everyone followed him. It only later became clear how right Miriam was. As a result, the one who born from Miriam and Yocheved's second marriage was Moses. The commentary also states that the souls of the great ones in the Bible had to be hidden in a place where there was no logic, so that they could not be discovered and overthrown, as in the story of King David, and also in the story of Moses. After Moses fled to the desert following the murder of the Egyptian soldier, he married Zipporah, the daughter of Jethro, priest of Midian, and became a shepherd. Moses led the flock in the desert and not in an inhabited place. Why was this? It is written that Satan roams the land in inhabited places, looking for victims. Book of Job 1 verse 7. The Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming throughout the earth, going back and forth on it." The desert is not an inhabited place, so Satan will not search there. Until the age of 80, Moses humbled himself in the desert and did not reveal his presence to strangers. Suddenly, at the age of 80, the character of Moses became the first redeemer and a great leader of the people of Israel. The Bible tells us that at his birth he did not receive his name, so why was his name not mentioned on the day of his death? Why did this happen again? Exodus 32 verse 32. But now, please forgive their sin, but if not, then blot me out of the book you have written. The commentators explain that the reason his name was erased on the day of his death was his request to God when the Israelites sinned with the sin of the calf. The name is nothing but a title for a person, it is intended for those around him so that they can call him. Man himself does not need his name. We can see this simply in a newborn baby, from the moment he comes into the world. He is considered an independent reality, whereas the name is given to him only a few days later. In order to understand this, we must precede and explain the importance of Moses' request. Please forgive their sin, but if not, then blot me out of the book you have written. To understand his request, we must explain the meaning of the people of Israel to Moses. Please forgive them for their sin, but if not, then delete me from the book you wrote. The Bible is named after him because Moses gave his life for the Bible. Some believe that the Bible was written by him and his teacher, the Archangel Michael. And why did Moses risk himself for the sin of the calf, which he was not present at all? How is it possible that Moses risked his connection to the Bible for some of the Israelites who sinned by making the calf? What is the connection between the two things, that if God does not forgive the Israelites for the sin of the calf, then he will erase Moses from the Bible? One of the Pharisees is that Moses wanted to prevent them from saying that he was not there to ask for mercy on the Israelites. But this interpretation is incomplete, probably because the verse is not clear. That in Moses' claim to God, he wanted to bring atonement for the sin of the calf, and did not care for himself. Moses' bond with the people was stronger than his faith in the Bible. The explanation for this is: Moses was deeply united with the Israelites, until it was not possible to separate him from them in general and in particular. After all, Moses was not present, and he could not influence and prevent the people of Israel from building the golden calf. He was on Mount Sinai for 40 days and 40 nights. He went to bring the tablets of the covenant to the people, so why should he be harmed? Only because Moses is united with the Israelites. And his greatness depends on the greatness of the Israelites. So from his point of view he also sinned against the golden calf. The meaning of, please forgive their sin, but if not, then blot me out of the book you have written. It is that if the sin of the calf is so serious that God is not ready to forgive them, then let him erase Moses from his book. Thus Moses asks and demands, "But if not, then blot me out of the book you have written," from the Bible. It is evident, without reservation, that Moses' unity with the Israelites is greater than his unity with the Bible. Therefore, atonement is possible even for the sin of the calf, allowing them to return and reunite with the Bible. These are the secrets of Moses. We hope you learned something new today. If you did, give this video a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more informative and entertaining content. See you next time.